welcome all of you on the platform of YourPedia, and you are watching the series of interaction with the visionaries, especially the visionaries from the field of academics and industry. Today I have interacted with one of the very important personality in the field of education who has literally transformed the technical education system in India, I can say. And his name is Dr. Anil Sahasrabudhe, who is the All India Council of Technical Education chairman as of now. And let me tell you, he has great vision, and I'm very sure the moment you will listen to my interaction with him, you will really enjoy it. We will certainly learn a lot of things from him. And his learnings are also, his experiences and his vision are also great learnings for those of us who look forward to become a leader in the field of academics and research or industry. He literally transformed the College of Engineering Pune, and then he's bringing lot of good changes in All India Council of Technical Education through new curriculum. And whatever components now we see in new education policy today, they were long back implemented by him when he was serving as faculty in Northeast state. There are certain things I would like to tell you about Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe. Let me tell you, he is a great visionary, and if I tell you about his academic journey, he graduated long back from Hubli College of Engineering and Technology, Hubli, which was affiliated to Karnataka University. And then there he got gold medal and first rank in mechanical engineering. After that, he obtained his master's and doctoral degrees from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. He served in some of the institutes, like he served in Northeast Regional Institute of Science and Technology, Itanagar, and then he joined IIT Guwahati. From IIT Guwahati, he went on deputation and served as Director of College of Engineering, Pune. And after that, he joined as Chairman of All India Council of Technical Education. You know, uh, Today, College of Engineering in Pune is a role model for entire India because it has transformed literally. And when I interacted with him, let me tell you the interaction points with Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe. My couple of questions which I asked him were, sir, why you went on deputation from IIT Guwahati to College of Engineering in Pune, and how you transformed it totally, and how this transformation can be replicated to other colleges also. Because what is happening in College of Engineering Pune today, if that starts happening in majority of other state engineering colleges, believe me, it will be totally transformation of the technical education system in India. Then I asked him that what is his view on new education policy, and what is the model curriculum which he's thinking, which is talking about of being implemented in All India Council of Technical Education. What are his advice, and how a budding and entrepreneur in education, or leader in education domain, directors, principals, head of the departments, teachers, how they should learn, we can learn from his experiences. So I'm very sure his each word, each line will be useful to all of us. So let's enjoy interaction with Professor Sahasrabudhe, All India Council of Technical Education chairman, and also the professor of IIT Guwahati. Let's watch the interaction with him.
Sir, it's a privilege talking to you, and thanks a lot for giving your time to me, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so Professor Sahasrabudhe, I welcome you on our interaction today, and I have certain questions, sir, which I will discuss with you today in the morning. My first question is that, sir, you after you did your doctorate from IISc Bangalore, you joined as faculty in IIT Guwahati, and then you continued there for a couple of years, and then you came to, yeah.
No, that is not the correct sequence.
Okay. That is what I came to see from internet, sir. If you can
No.
yeah.
That is not the way it happened.
Okay.
I was still in PhD program.
Okay.
And my faculty member, that is guide, supervisor,
Okay.
had gone abroad on a sabbatical leave for about 1.5 years.
Okay.
And I took that opportunity and went to Northeastern Regional Institute of Science and Technology in Arunachal Pradesh.
Right, sir.
Which was an institute which was just started
in
a different model, other than the normal way.
Okay.
Our new national education policy talks some of the elements which were already there in that particular institution.
Okay.
The admission to the institution being at the end of class 10th exam.
Okay.
And the first 2 years would be a certificate module,
Okay.
something similar to vocational education or ITI or whatever you call it,
Right.
where there is physics, chemistry, math also there. Along with that, there is an element of one of the engineering skills, maybe carpentry, maybe fitting, maybe electronics technician, maybe computer, maybe welding, and any of these kind of skills actually, which are related in civil or electrical or electronics fields.
Right, sir.
Then those who get a CGPA of 3 out of 5, that means nearly 60% and above, they are allowed to move up into another 2 years, and at the end of that 2 years, one gets a diploma.
Okay.
So the diploma there would be actually a 4-year diploma after class 10.
Right.
But there is an exit provision at the end of 2 years of certificate or after 2 years of diploma. After diploma, those who again score minimum 3 out of 5 CGPA will move into a degree module. And that degree will be again only of 2 years duration. So
Okay.
many people got a doubt, how can a degree be completed in 2 years? But
Okay.
it is essentially after class 10, 2 plus 2 plus 2, that is essentially 6 years after class 10, which
Okay.
is nothing but after 12th standard, 4 years.
Okay.
And then there are multiple that exits were already there at the end of 2 years or 4 years as a certificate holder or diploma holder.
Right, sir.
But outside, someone who has done class 12 science
Right, sir.
or an ITI can enter directly into diploma module.
Okay.
But because he has missed out something which is done here in the first 2 years of the base module or the certificate module,
Right.
there will be bridge courses for them.
Okay.
And similarly, a person with 3-year diploma can enter into a degree program, but for him, 2 years is not enough. And therefore, like our diplomas entering into degree for the direct second year entry, which we have.
Right,
So
sir.
similarly, those diploma holders who come into the system as for the degree program will have a large number of bridge courses. So they will take additional 1 year, which means they will have to go through 3 years. And even BSc students can directly come into engineering for
Okay.
the 2-year program, but they will have a lot of other additional bridge courses which will require further 1 year. So
Okay.
essentially it is multi-exit, multi-entry, what today education policy
Is talking about. Yes.
This institute was started in 1986 by the government of India.
Yes, sir.
And my first job was there actually as a teacher, faculty.
So was this mentioned in education policy 86, sir? Because earlier education policy was in 1986 only. So this model, whatever you are talking about, was the part of education?
No, it was not mentioned in the policy, but it was, see, policy came in 86, but this institute was already started in 86. So
Okay.
this is prior to the announcement of that policy.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there was a thinking in the government that we must
Okay.
experiment.
Okay.
And for you are from this region, you must be knowing Longowal.
Right, sir. Punjab, yes.
Sant Longowal Institute.
Yes, sir.
You must be knowing. That was the second such institute started actually
Yes,
after
sir.
the
Yes, sir.
one which was started in Itanagar in Arunachal Pradesh. Second one was Longowal.
Sant Longowal.
Then the third one came up in Bodoland area of the Assam. And the
Okay.
fourth one was supposed to be there, but it never came up. So actually that remained. And the fourth one later came in Abdul Ghani Khan Chaudhary Institute in West Bengal.
Okay.
Whereas it should have been supposedly in the Pondicherry actually.
Okay.
So instead of Pondicherry, finally it came into. So there are 4 institutes of this breed. So
Okay.
I was
Okay.
first faculty in that particular institute. After
Okay,
my MTech and half PhD, not full PhD.
Okay.
And after going there for about a year and a quarter, my boss came back from USA after his sabbatical leave. For 1.5 years, he spent in USA and Canada and had returned. And so I also returned back to Indian Institute of Science and completed my PhD in the next 7-8 months. And again, I went back to the same institute, by the way, to
Okay.
Itanagar after my PhD.
Okay.
And worked there for nearly 8 years later. And then I came to IIT Guwahati, by which time IIT was also a new institution which was started.
Okay. IIT got it. Sir, IIT Guwahati you left and you joined College of Engineering, Pune.
I didn't leave. I'm still on IIT Guwahati rolls.
Okay, so you went to College of Engineering Pune
on deputation. I
deputation.
am again returned to IIT Guwahati for one day and again came on deputation to AICTE. So my meter is still running in
IIT Guwahati.
IIT Guwahati.
Uh,
My affiliation अभी वहाँ चालू है. Without doing any work for IIT Guwahati, my credit and claim still continues there.
Okay, that's great. Professor Sahasrabudhe, I would like to ask you, sir, you went to College of Engineering in Pune and you transformed it completely, and that is a big news nowadays. Sir, I would like to know more about that, how that transformation took place, and can that transformation be replicated to other colleges in the state government, or for that matter, private sector colleges? So whatever transformation was done by you in College of Engineering Pune, how can that be replicated other places? Because we cannot have many Sahasrabuddhis.
No. The Sahasrabudhis are not required.
Okay.
What is required is actually commitment, passion, and non-interference by the government, especially in the government institution.
Okay.
For private institutions, anyway, there is no government interference. We are all liberated in that sense in terms of whether the recruitment process is concerned or whether it is a fee to be charged is concerned, and how you spend that money is concerned. See, that freedom already exists with the particular it's private institution.
Right, sir.
Only freedom which they don't have is to start any type of program that they wish. They will have to take the approval of the regulatory body like AICTE. So for that, you will have to apply and follow due diligence, and thereby, if you are able to convince that a new program is worth starting, you will be able to do. But even this, to a great extent, is possible if you apply for autonomy from the university in terms of the UGC regulations on autonomy. If an application is made through MHRD to UGC and then a committee visits the institution and finds that they can be independent from the university in terms of curriculum, in terms of teaching learning process, in terms of holding examination, including setting of question paper by the college itself, and then announcing the result, and result is only validated by the university, and the only part of the university is to award degrees. Otherwise, the entire process which otherwise takes place in the university is done in an autonomous institution.
Right, sir.
So that route is available to both private as well as government institutions.
Okay.
But private institutions have other autonomies in terms of administration, in terms of finances, which government institutions many times do not have. In fact, that is why there is a bigger challenge in government institutions, because the bureaucracy, the state government, secretariat, they all control many facets of the administration. And that is why if you get full autonomy, not just academic autonomy, but in the government college, if one gets both administrative, managerial, and financial autonomy, transformation is possible in the government also, and it is much more easier in the private institution.
Okay, but sir, after having got that autonomy, my question to you was how transformation could be done. I mean, the people who are running private institutes, directors and all, what are your points and guidelines for them, sir, how to transform the entire system in the college?
First and foremost, as I said, the leadership has to be having a strong commitment to transform.
Right, sir.
If that is missing, nothing can happen. So you must have a grand vision in your arena that I want to transform this institution. And वो पूरे दिल से, मन से, हृदय से होना चाहिए. ऐसे ऊपर बोलने से नहीं चलता है.
Right, sir.
So that is from the bottom of the heart, the person who is leading should understand that. That means when I talk about whether private or government, it is not only the principal or the director of the institution, but also the board. That means in the case of private, it could be the society, trust, or owner who holds the institution. They should also be committed to that. And in the case of government, it should be the government recognize whatever body which takes care of that, whether it is DTE, whether it is the Secretary of the Higher Education. They should also be committed. So the commitment is the first part.
Right, sir.
Once the commitment is there, you have to draw up a grand action plan. You have to strategize. So it all depends on what type of faculty you have, what type of habits they have, in terms of work culture, ethics,
Right, sir.
So based on that, you need to start tweaking with that.
Right.
There are institutions where the selected faculty are already doing pretty good job. For example, good teaching, learning, good research. Then the efforts required are going to be substantially much less.
Right,
Because then you can turn around that very fast.
right,
But even in a culture where the work culture, work ethics is very poor, that if the college starts at say 9 o'clock, as faculty come at 10:30, and even the timetable or the institution is supposed to be running for 8 hours a day. That means up to evening 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. People wind up everything and go away at 2 o'clock, or come and for giving merely attendance at morning 9 o'clock and vanish for some 2-3 hours, 4 hours, and again come back in the evening.
Yes, sir.
This is the work culture. To transform, it takes little longer time. And I inherited an institution of that type.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
And that was a real challenge. So, and secondly, as I said, the support from the board of management, governors, or whoever I said is very crucial.
Right, sir.
So in my case, I was in some sense had problem with the problem which I stated, but the successful thing happened because of two very important things. The chairman of the board of governors of our institute, who selected me to come from IIT Guwahati to this place on deputation, was none other than Dr. F.C. Kohli, who is known as the father of software industry in India.
Yes, sir.
And the first software company of India, Tata Consultancy Services, was started by him with 6 employees.
Right.
He worked for Tata Electric earlier.
Right.
And from there he migrated, started this new company for Tatas.
Right.
And with 6 people today, with nearly 4 lakh people in 100 odd countries it represents, that seed was sown by that visionary man. And when there were no computers in India,
right,
there was not even an iota of computerization existing, 1968.
Right, sir.
And that is the time when he started off. So that's why, and with that kind of a visionary man who was holding the chair, and he was very clear, he had told the political masters that is the minister and others, that you have to isolate the director from any of the political interferences.
Right.
So if you have anything, you have to tell me. I will in turn tell the director that you do this or don't do this or what.
Okay.
You are not to directly talk to the director.
Okay.
And the same thing he told the Secretary of Higher Education of the state government, that is IAS officer,
Right.
the minister, and he completely isolated any political influence on the system. That
Right.
means including whether you call recruitment process, the purchase process, everything was given full free hand actually. And
Right.
secondly, I was also from an IIT system, so I had inherited best practices of IITs which were known, and we wanted to introduce them, and that's why this freedom was very, very important.
Right.
And then the faculty were to be taken around, staff were to be taken around, and they should be also feeling the same feeling that the Kohli, the chairman of the board or the director has. And for that, we had a very nice interactive sessions. Again, TCS helped us.
Okay.
There were 3 TCS employees who had done managerial lot of workshops. These people were asked to help us. And what we did was to engage all stakeholders of the institute, starting from attendant peon onwards to clerks, to faculty members, to heads of the department, deans, to our alumni and industry with whom we connect. We had large number of sessions on Saturday, Sundays.
Okay.
Every Saturday, Sunday, we used to have a very interesting workshop, 2 days, sometimes only 1 day. But this would be starting with some games, some sports, and then some interaction meeting, and also doing SWOT analysis.
Okay.
What are the strengths of our institutes? What are the weaknesses of the institute? What are the opportunities, threats that the institute has?
Right.
And how you can contribute? What is your role? What you feel about it? What we need to do?
Right.
So when you start involving them and gradually holding such absolutely in a free atmosphere,
Right,
even director is sitting along with a peon or attendant, and then talking to them.
Right,
And then he is also having an freedom to express his thoughts.
Right, sir.
So that will start building what is known as rapport and ownership.
Right,
Then
sir.
everyone in the institute started feeling that this is my institute. Otherwise, people were not taking classes. They were coming at any time, as I said, and going back
Right,
any time. And then that transformation started to happen.
Okay.
And myself, every semester I was taking one course, even though I'm a director. Administration is one part, but as an academician, taking regularly one course for our students was a norm. Actually, you can take little more, but at least one every semester. That philosophy will also make others feel that if director takes, I have to also take. So that way, people who are not taking classes, HODs, deans, they also started taking classes regularly. So I think this transformation was not instantaneous. It took some time, but over a period of about 2 to 3 years, there were visible changes in terms of the habit, attitude, and the way they took life. Actually, everything started changing.
Entire culture.
And these kind of, I said, Saturday, Sunday, intense full day workshops, you call workshops or whatever you call it by name, but engagements where they started opening up. And they had some hidden problems also. In a government sector, there are many issues. So some of them are solvable, not solvable. So when they feel and they understand that something is immediately not solvable, but something is solvable and our authorities are trying to solve them, I think ownership and feeling of oneness will start happening. Right. And that is the magic mantra actually. Right. And then we started doing exercise on what should be our vision for the institute, what should be mission, what are the goals for the institute. Right. In the next 5 years, what should we achieve? And when we said this, they all came out and all of that was listed, and then many things were then removed, some things were retained, and then we said this is our now set of goals. So that was not thrust from the above, that was not tops down, bottoms up approach. And so everyone felt this is my vision, my goal. Then we articulated that said we have all agreed to this set of goals. Now we have 9 departments. Now how each department is going to contribute to make the success of this particular set of goals. Right. So the responsibility was given to the departments. Then department in turn had their own faculty staff meetings and said in the department's contribution, whatever we are required to do to the institute, what each individual is ready to do, tell us. Right. And it is all free for all. So if someone says, I would like to do excellent research, okay, you do it. Someone says, I want to take more courses because I am a good teacher. Okay. I enjoy teaching. Okay. So you please don't ask me how many research papers I have published, but I will do more of courses. You know, others may be taking 2 courses. I am willing to take 3 courses. Right, sir. And also engage with students. Someone will say, I am interested in sports. So I will take care of sports of the students. And I will go to the playground every day, sit with students and chat with them. I think that is what is the involvement. So involvement of faculty in various aspects of the institutional administration with their own interest and not being thrust on someone. Right, sir. So someone becoming dean will, dean of student affair will be sympathetic to the students' needs and requirements. So then students also started feeling this is my institute. So I think that ownership across the board, the way it started developing, and transformation was then automatic. You don't have to do much later. Right. Those first 5-6 years are vital years actually. Right.
Professor Sahasrabudhe, I would like to ask you a question related to edupreneurship. Sir, entrepreneurship, everybody knows at least what is the meaning. You also worked in the field of edupreneurship. Sir, can you please elaborate what is edupreneurship?
And I didn't work in edupreneurship as such, but there are 2 awards which I have got by some people. Sir. They have named them. Right, so I have not done anything about it. One of them is edupreneur is in the education sector, entrepreneurial type of habit, attitude. Okay. What does entrepreneur do? Entrepreneur thinks of many things which are out of the box. Right. He takes risks. He puts in his all efforts. Right. And then sometimes succeeds, sometimes fails. Right, sir. So same way in the education also, making some reforms which are not normally thought of, out of the box.
Right, sir.
And if you do some out of the box thinking, you will have to put in a lot of efforts, and sometimes may succeed, may not succeed. So
Right.
that is what is known as risk taking.
Right, sir.
So if you do that in education sector, then it is something like an entrepreneur. But in an education sector, that's why it is called edupreneur.
Entrepreneurship.
Then there is a award which I got from Praj Industries,
Right,
and
sir.
which existed for a long time. Even before I was awarded, there were many others also.
Right, sir.
And that was called intrapreneur.
Okay.
The concept of entrepreneur is the one who himself puts in his money, his efforts, and then success or failure is his cup of tea,
Right,
whatever
sir.
he gets. But in an organization, there are people who are not the owners, or
Right,
who are
sir.
not the people who are directly involved in setting up that,
Mhm.
but they are employees. Maybe like, for example, the principal,
Right.
the director of the institute, the vice chancellor,
Right, sir.
in case of educational institution.
Right,
In
sir.
case of private companies, we have managers, managing director, etc. They are not owners.
Right,
They
sir.
have been assigned this job.
Right, sir.
In the government is the government, so it's the entity which is taking care of all the issues. But these officers like IAS officers, IPS officers, who are part of the government system,
Right, sir.
but they are not owners of the government.
Right, sir.
They have a lot of duties and responsibilities.
Right, sir.
But in their attitude, attributes, the way they operate, the way they function, if that entrepreneurial skill in terms of thinking out of the box, taking risks, and owning it and putting your all efforts.
Right, sir.
Because if you are an entrepreneur, you will not leave any stone unturned for the success of that.
Right, sir.
Finally, still failure may come. That's a different thing. You don't
Right.
plan for failure.
Right,
You
sir.
plan for success.
Right,
So whether it is working for not just 8 hours, you show me which entrepreneur will work only for 8 hours. नहीं अभी सुबह का 9 o'clock office time start हुआ, शाम का 5 बंद हो गया.
Right,
They
sir.
will all put in their effort even in the late evening, night.
Yeah.
कभी भी call आता है, कभी भी आता है. Business को business है. So
Right.
they will, well, it is my business. I want to succeed.
Right.
So same way, when you are in an educational institute or in a government or in a private company or a public company also, that is government company, public sector, if that person in charge of some division or in charge of that puts in exactly the same value system of that of an entrepreneur, then you are an intrapreneur. You are an internal fellow, but you are doing same way as that of an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. Right, sir. Right, sir. Professor Sahasrabudhe, can you please, sir, tell me how what can be done to attract the best mind for higher education and research? Let's say for master courses in engineering and PhD courses. In our country, even today, that craze is less for youngsters and bright mind people to come into education domain for faculty positions and to come for higher education for masters and PhD courses. So, being chairman of AICTE, sir, what do you suggest? How can this be made more lucrative? Though we have scholarships like Prime Minister Research Fellowship and all, but still, sir, many things are to be done.
See, lucrative thing in terms of scholarship and the amount of money is one part,
Right,
which
sir.
may also be important, but more important than that, you have to develop that interest, that passion, that philosophy that I'm being part of the education means not only I am serving myself and my family, but I am able to create next few generations.
Right, sir.
I think that spirit, if it is imbibed in bright students who are quite possibly likely to be successful teachers, our existing good teachers should work on them.
Right, sir.
So it is actually like a chain reaction. So if a person becomes a role model, naturally you are also tempted to take up the same profession.
Right, sir.
So that's why you look from the childhood. You ask a child of 3 years, 4 years, that child will what do you want to become in life? And across the board, any country, anywhere, any region, any language you can see, they will say, I want to become a driver, because they feel that driving a car is a fascinating thing.
Yeah.
Little elder, and then when they see the railway, etc., they will say, I will become a railway engine driver.
Okay.
Although it's a much substandard job, but still they feel it. And when they see the aircraft, they say, I want to become a pilot.
Right, sir.
So same way, if a good teacher is visible in front of their eyes, and despite less income and despite whatever limitations, he is always happy and he is making others happy by teaching whatever he knows. Once that clicks in the mind of a student, he will also imbibe that quality and will start feeling that I should also become like that. Money may come and may not come, doesn't matter, but at least my life would be very, very fruitful. And when that clicks, I think that is the point when such a teacher should motivate them. And then certainly they will all join your master's program, PhD program. And then in turn, they can also do the same thing which their teachers have done.
Right,
I recently saw a video of a guy who also became teacher, but he went to his old whatever teacher, lady, madam, who taught some subject to him long, long ago, 30 years later. He was well set and all that, had given a lot of talks, research, everything. But he became teacher because of that teacher. So he bought a sari and went and gave it to her as a gift. She remembered him and said, why? The simple thing that guy was saying, I was a very naughty guy, dull. All teachers were only saying that you are useless. You are the only teacher who told me that you are very good and you will be able to do well in life. And those two sentences finally motivated me and continued. And I thought I should also become teacher. I think that is the spirit actually.
It's required, right, sir. Sir, you have introduced a model curriculum in AICTE. Talk about the model curriculum in AICTE. Can you please tell us something about more about that, sir? What is the model curriculum?
And a model curriculum is actually because there are new changes which are happening continuously in the technology domain.
Right, sir.
And if they are not taught to our students, their employability will be poorer.
Right, sir.
And what industry needs to be part of the curriculum.
Right, sir.
And many universities did not do it. And therefore, to give them on a platter, we created model curriculum, making use of people from industry as well as institutes like IITs and all that. Right. And whatever came as the curriculum, this is a suggestive one. Right. Each university can tweak with that as per the local needs.
Right, sir.
And that's why it is not called the fixed curriculum, or we call it a model curriculum. Okay. So model is to be emulated. So you can change here, there as per your requirement. Okay. And that was the need for a model curriculum, wherein we brought in AI, IoT, machine learning, deep learning, robotics, 3D printing, blockchain, augmented reality, virtual reality, all of this part of the curriculum now.
Right, sir. Professor Sahasrabudhe, my last question to you is related to new education policy, sir. Though you have started your interview from that aspect only, that what you did earlier, that is now incorporated into new education policy. How do you see this new education policy, sir? And especially foreign universities coming and setting up their campuses in India, which is mentioned in new education policy. So what is your take on that, sir?
First thing is foreign universities coming in. There are some certainly restrictions in terms of who all can come. Only the top universities are allowed to enter. Secondly, our philosophy of education being not for profit. It's not an industry where you can generate profit. Right. And therefore, even if there is some surplus generated because of the fee charged and the actual expenditure, that money should be plowed back into the same system, improving further facilities for research and support system for our faculty and staff and so on. So the profit being not allowed to be taken out from this country will have some challenges, because many of the foreign universities look for from the angle of profit. So this is one bottleneck. But there are many universities who also don't think that education is for profit, and they also keep all the surplus in terms of what we call as corpus, and many of the foreign universities has huge corpus. And in fact, they can run the university for the next 20 years probably without charging a single penny of fee. Okay. But still they charge the fee, because this corpus keeps on increasing. Right. And this is used at the bad times, because a crisis like COVID, suddenly there are nothing happening, no income, but still you may have to pay the salaries of the staff and the faculty. Right. So in such winter times, you will have this kind of corpus coming in handy.
Right,
Or
sir.
sometimes entire building needs to be replaced, maybe after
Right.
50 or 60 years,
Right.
when it is in dilapidated condition.
Right.
You have to replace the equipment. So
Right.
without charging extra fee to the students, the corpus will come in handy.
Right, sir.
So this principle of not for profit also exists in foreign universities, not that it's only in India.
Okay.
So there are universities which may come with an interest that India is a land of now opportunities. With a young population, the
Right, sir.
demographic dividend which we talk about.
Right.
So they want the graduates to get this degree here, and some of them for PhD may go to their universities in the abroad. So this is like sort of an investment to create goodwill of the university of the country also. So I think there may be multiple reasons for which foreign universities may come and set up their establishments here.
Okay.
And this is advantageous to Indian institutions and Indian citizens, because to get a degree from, say, MIT or Harvard or Stanford, going there and studying will be very expensive.
Right, sir.
And if we are able to get that education right here at a much lower cost,
Right, sir.
it is advantageous to students. In terms of other universities, it is a competition. And therefore, if there is a competitor, you will also do well. And you learn best practices of theirs and implement them here.
Right.
So that way it is good for our universities as well.
Right, right, sir. Professor Sahasrabudhe, I thank you a lot, sir, for giving your time to us. And I'm very sure the views which you shared will help many budding entrepreneurs and educationists. Thanks a lot, sir.